Hi folks, welcome to Module 2 of EDU 390. I'm coming to you from my office here on the UMA campus. This week there's a lot of material to get through. The good news is you have 2 weeks to do it, so bear with me. I just wanted to just talk with you a little bit and give you a face for the name. I know you see my picture, but the first week it was just my disembodied voice narrating a PowerPoint. So I just wanted to add a little bit of context for who I am and just walk through what you need to do this week. And then I'm going to do a series of short narrated PowerPoints to help unpack some of these things. Some of you have extensive experience in creating unit plans and lesson plans. Others may have some experience and some may not have a lot. If you've gone through the UMA program, you've had some courses that have prepared you for doing this, and I suspect that some of the others have that as well. But nonetheless, it will be important for you to investigate this week's links and supplemental materials thoroughly. So I have my iPad over here so I can walk through the things that you're going to be doing. So the title of this week's module is Building Your Unit of Study, and this is where we begin the very basic parts of thinking about what the mode of presentation will be for your unit, what some of the goals for your unit, what instructional strategies might you use, what kinds of assessments might you use, and what kinds of presentation formats. So there's 4 sub categories this week that you'll investigate, and you'll engage in a few of those, and I'll explain that in a bit. So you're going to do your regular reading. You're going to view these 4 items with their embedded links and supplemental materials. You're going to do your journal entry for week 2. You're going to complete the discussion forum, and then you're going to submit for feedback the UBD template, and I'm going to talk about that's Understanding by Design. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. You have some supplemental materials to help you understand Understanding by Design, and I'm going to talk you through it as well. So those are the items that have to be completed. Again, you have 2 weeks to do it. There is a section that I've given some text on about building your unit of study, and I want to read to you what this is a primary goal for this course. The major project for this course is to construct a standards aligned, that would be your content standards, main learning results, and or Common Core State standards, and or Next Gen Science standards. Aligned, literacy and technology rich, that means you have to pay attention to the Common Core State standards, literacy standards for all content areas, not just for ELA. You have to be thinking about technology. We are doing a module towards the end of this course on technology, but you need to be forward thinking about how you will teach with and through technology in your class. It will be a required component. Developmentally appropriate. Think about the students who will be in front of you. I encourage you not to think about just honor students or AP or IB students, but to think broadly about a heterogeneous classroom where you're going to have to differentiate in terms of content, process, or assessment. So consider the course in front of you, and you can, because you're working on 7 through 12 certification, you can choose any of those grade levels that you prefer. Discipline specific, that means it's going to be aligned with your specific discipline, keeping in mind that you will incorporate literacy technology as well. It employs sound pedagogical methodology based on research and proven educational theory. And so it's not just I'm going to do it this way because my favorite teacher, Mr. Hill, did it this way, or I'm going to do it this way because that's the way I learn best. Okay, so it has to be based on a pedagogically sound, research proven. Okay, and so what does this all mean? I've laid that out in little chunks so that you can read through that, and there's a couple of embedded links, so please do that, all right? And don't skip over it just because it's text, okay? Read it carefully. And then unit plan information again is broken down into setting goals or learning outcomes, and that walks you through backward design, essential questions, habits of mind, and conceptual and procedural knowledge. And there's a lot to read about that, lots of supplemental material. And the other caveat that I give you is that if you follow this systematically for this week, you'll be much better off. If you just jump in and start clicking on links because it might look interesting, you're going to be confused, and I'm going to be getting a flood of emails. So be systematic. Start at the top. I've designed it that you'll be at the top, and you work your way through it. Okay. Don't skip a piece, because then you'll have questions about what the heck does this mean. And then there's another section on instructional strategies that we're going to look at this week, but not engage in. But I want you to be thinking about this, because next time, the next class, we're going to be looking at, okay, I know what my goals are. I know what my learning outcomes are. I know what my essential questions are and my enduring understandings. Now, what are the activities and the instructional practices I need to employ in order to get my students there? And that will be the instructional strategies that we'll really delve into next time. But for now, I want you to look at these broad categories. So for instance, there's explicit teaching, modeling, scaffolding, apprenticeship, discovery, cooperative learning. So there's lots of different ways of it doesn't have to be one, just one. A good teacher uses many methodologies. So I want you to investigate, and there may be more that I have not provided, but these are the sort of the big ones that are generally incorporated in teaching. And then the next set would be on assessments. And there's just 2 websites to look at on formative and summative assessment. So get your head wrapped around what those 2 things are and how those are used in the course. And then there are unit of study presentation formats to look at. Are you going to frame your unit by inquiry with a large inquiry question? That's my favorite, but it's not everybody's. Are you going to go thematically? Are you going to go by genre? What I would not recommend is just a sort of textbook presentation where you sort of march through the chapters. It may be that your curriculum requires you to use the textbook and to follow in chronological order or the order of the chapters, but that doesn't mean that you can't be inventive about ways of presenting that material, either in an inquiry-based or thematic or genre-based. Okay, and that's the sort of content presentation for this particular class. The rest are just notes of doing your journaling and your discussion forums. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and you'll hear my voice again in a couple of little PowerPoint presentations, a little sort of thought shots in helping you work through this material.